Hello, Capricorn. This is your reading for the week of August 18th, or when you hear it and it resonates, and it won't be for every Capricorn. So the first thing that I saw when I began working with you today was I was seeing you walking along the bank of a concrete, one of those V-shaped concrete drainage systems in the city. But it doesn't look dirty. It's already been purified and it's going out into something way down there. A big body of water way down there that you can't quite focus on. It's not actually that far away, but somehow you can't quite bring it into focus. So the next thing that I'm noticing is that you're kind of walking quietly along the bank and you're looking at the water and it's quite pretty and you're whistling. You get to the end before it goes into a drain, and then you walk back and you continue the process again. And so there's this repeated process of going back and forth, but all of a sudden now you get to the end and now you really want to see what's at the other, where it's actually going. You're tired of looking at the same water. You're tired of looking at the same banks, and you're feeling somewhat frustrated about the fact that this is the containment. Now, I'm just being reminded here that in this case, water is definitely corresponding to two things. One is emotion and one is creativity. And what it feels to me here is that I got to slow down because there's stuff here. Okay. Emotions and creativity. And that you have maintained these two things within a fairly rigid structure that doesn't give it a lot of room to nourish your sense of who you are, because it's not going into the earth here. The stuff that you're looking at, it's contained in concrete. It's not seeping into the earth here. You're looking at it in this very, very rigid, static thing, and you're not following it to where it goes into nature, where it goes into something expansive. So why is that relevant? That's relevant, Capricorn, because what it's saying to me here is that what you really want to do is you really want to be singing, and I love this, Proud Mary. The next thing I saw, it's literally like you want to break out, and there's this quality of, so what I saw was, I didn't even see the Creedence Clearwater version of it. I saw the Tina Turner version of it, with you standing on the stage in your bangly dress, stomping your feet with those gorgeous legs and throwing that hair all around. So, of course, what it is, I mean, it's perfect, it's perfect, it's perfect. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day, and I never lost 1 minute of sleep in worrying about the things might have been. So, and then it goes, of course, it's going on about I cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis, pumped a lot of whatever. Now, and then it goes on to say, if you come down to the river, bet you're going to find some people who live. You don't have to worry because you got no money. People on the river are happy to give. So what I feel like this really is saying to you, my dear, my dear, my dears, is this. If you want to break free of the restriction that you've put yourself in, if you want to explore your emotions in a deeper way, in a more fulfilling way, in a more organic way. And what does that mean? Organic means there's an opportunity to grow and make something new with it, as opposed to just staying within the bounds of what you've created. You're being told that there is life beyond doing things for the man, or the way things, the rigid, structured way of living, or the way you've structured yourself, that you have the ability to be able to move beyond this restriction and see. And the thing is, there are several different things here that come up around why you stay the way you are. So what it feels like for me is that, people who are very concerned about I just need clarification here on something. Okay. So struggle can become an unconscious way of being. And sometimes when you've had to work through no fault, but you've had to work in order to keep things going and make things happen and create some kind of security or structure, it becomes the struggle around that almost becomes a habit. And that can certainly come from childhood, where you've lived in a state of struggle, or where you've seen struggle being made noble in some way. You know, that beautiful old Protestant work ethic of work hard and you'll be rewarded. I mean, that was very much something that was certainly coming out of the Depression and the war, World War II, that was definitely the model for having the life that you want, the American dream, whatever dream, that sense of work hard and you'll be rewarded. Now, but the thing with that is it can become part of your operating system, so that it infiltrates many different areas of your life, not just work. So the thing about struggle is it's usually involving, often, it's putting a lot of energy into something that doesn't necessarily pay off in results. We tend to think that struggle is going to make a situation, if we struggle to make something better, it's going to happen. When the reality is, if we can relax into it, into whatever the situation is, and work with an attitude of gratitude, work with an attitude of expansiveness, with pleasure, we actually have a higher energy and we actually produce more with that. So what you're being shown here is, okay, this is the old way. Now can you move deliberately into gratitude and into a playful attitude around whatever the situation is that has become a restriction for you? And use those things to move towards that greater body of water, because that's where I feel like you want to go. You're singing Proud Mary. Some of you really want to be following that river beyond this rigid drainage system. You're also being reminded that you have the power. Some of the reasons we will stay in struggle or stay in restriction is because we fear we're not going to be able to handle what's going to happen when we get out into that chaos, when we get out into that big rolling river. But you're being reminded, and this is important because sometimes I'll be given a song and it's only a certain phrase that I'm told to look at. But this one, it was, if you come down to the river, bet you're going to find some people who live. You don't have to worry because you got no money. People on the river are happy to give. So what this says to me is, not only is it telling me you want to break free, but that if you do break free and you do expand within that idea of movement, expansion, giving up struggle, moving towards gratitude and pleasure as a way of manifesting healthier emotions and creative projects, whatever they are, that you are going to have the power, you're going to have what you need in order to be able to do that, that you develop. This was important too, they threw this in there, that it's important to know that you develop, you understand your sense of power. It's not that you don't already have it. We all have it. We're just not tapping into it. Our psyche gets in the way. Our personality gets in the way. Our personality that is linked to that old belief system about struggle, right? So you're being told you have the power. You will be unveiling that power as you allow yourself to be challenged with new creative projects, with looking at oh, I didn't know I was going to say that. I heard romance in a different way, okay, but emotions in a different way, emotional vulnerability in a different way, and that you might come up with things that you need to forgive in yourself, in other people, and I'm hearing this too. You might have to forgive yourself for not having done this sooner. That's interesting. Okay, because as you start to move towards it, it's almost like as you realize how stuck you've been in some of these things, and how much you've wanted to do that, but that you've been afraid to, or you've let situations and responsibilities convince you that you couldn't do both. There's a part of you that might kind of be chastising yourself, blaming yourself a little bit for like, well, okay, why all that wasted time? No, No such thing. Now is the time. When you really desire it, now is the time. And sometimes you just have to go through disappointments enough of the same thing to realize you don't need it anymore, that you're tired of that story. And that is really a point of power. When you realize you're tired of the old story and that you're ready for a new one and you're ready to take a chance on what that water might be like, even if you don't know what it is, that's your freedom. Now listen, say what you feel. This is important. Saying what you feel is really talking about staying in touch with your heart and really noticing what you're saying just because it's become what's expected of you, or because it's just like a habitual way of responding to things, like, no, that's okay, I'll take care of it, or no, that's fine, I'm fine, I don't need more. No. It's that kind of a thing. And often I'm hearing those things now, and what I'm aware of is they're basically refusals. And what you're getting is the gratitude card. So whenever you say, no, that's fine, it's okay, you're kind of cutting out the reception of more. Now listen, this is something that they also said, which I hadn't heard before. And this is, gratitude is kind of an antidote to struggle. Gratitude is an antidote to those heavy energies, the holding grudges, the suffering, the martyrdom. And I'm using these not specifically because it's you, Capricorn. They're just all things that we will often hang on to as part of a way of holding us stable, so we don't have to take a chance on going into the great blue and being excited and perhaps chaotic. Gratitude, when you think about gratitude, it's thank you. You're not holding on to anything. You're not contracted. So what that does is, energetically, it is a counterpoint to those heavy energies. It literally is the equivalent of allowing manifestation, because it's not the equivalent of, it's an energy of allowing manifestation and of bringing more in, because you're open and you're saying thank you. There is nothing blocking more from coming in. You're basically saying, yeah, that's great. And the universe reads that as, this person is ready for more. So this can be a great antidote for you if you're finding yourself stuck, not knowing how to move towards those things that you want, move towards that beautiful blue water beyond this concrete drainage thing. Focus on gratitude and notice. Be grateful for what you have, but be grateful for what you'd like. I'm grateful that my life is expanding in ways that I couldn't have even imagined. You see, it doesn't have to be concrete. It can be a statement of more, a gratitude of statement for more that is good, that is positive. And a little note, if you are asking or welcoming something specific, thank you for giving me XYZ, or even better. Okay? Or even better. Now, Capricorn, I think I've said enough. I'm going to leave you there with that. Take care.